Michael Grant's past. There was a man named Marshall whose family was murdered around 2 years ago. His wife and kids were brutally murdered, and the case still has gone unsolved to this day. Marshall now stays in a motel in another town, but his mental health has been on a decline since the incident. He blames himself for what happened to his family and how he was at work and couldn't do anything about it. His dog ran away from him a few months after seeing how down Marshall was. He had only kept a photograph of his wife and kids that he looked at every single day. Despite all that, he's behind on rent and hasn't cleaned up in weeks. The guilt and torment of his family haunts Marshall's mind. The manager bangs on Marshall's door to speak with him. "Look, I'm sorry to do this and I know what happened with your family, but you're 3 months behind, Marshall. I can't keep lying to my boss," the manager said, not looking at Marshall. "I know. I'm sorry, I can have it next month," Marshall said, in a low, monotone voice. "You told me that last time. Look, I'm sorry, Marshall, but you have to go. I'll buy you as much time as possible. But my boss man, he's been on my ass about you. I'm really sorry," the manager said, all saddened and remorseful. After the manager walks off, Marshall walks inside his motel and looks at his photograph. One last time of his family, he opens the dresser and grabs his gun. He checks the clip and sees there are 6 bullets left. Marshall walks out his room with his gun in his hand and walks down the hall. He approaches the lobby and sees the manager helping out 2 elderly people. Marshall shoots and kills all 3 of them, 3 left in the chamber. He slowly walks back to his room. He sees a mother running around with her kid. Marshall aims the gun and kills the kid and mother. 1 left. Marshall heads back to his room with his gun to sit down and write a note. He hears sirens in the distance and gets up. Marshall says, "I love you, Beth," one last time. There's no more bullets in the clip. Reporting live from NHA News. My name Connor, and we're here at the corner motel where 6 were found dead. 2 elderly women, a mom and kid, the manager and the man responsible for it. The suspect had killed himself in his motel room, leaving behind a note. Later, the suspect was identified as Marshall Wright, who killed his family nearly 2 years ago, his real name, Michael Grant. He lived under a fake name as Marshall for nearly 2 years after murdering his family.